Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy New Year. It is the 2nd. It's the 2nd of January. I'm going to do a video that is highly requested on my Instagram and TikTok, but I think it belongs on here because it's going to be a little bit of a longer video. I'm about to get dressed to head into my barber to give him a Christmas present because I haven't seen him over the holidays. So that highly requested video is my tattoos, what they are, where they are, and what some of them mean. So without further ado, let's show you some of my tattoos. So we'll start on the right arm because this is where my first this is my first tattoo, this kind of nautical star or a punk star. There's no real story behind it other than I was 15. My sister asked me what I wanted for my birthday. I said a tattoo, and she brought me to get a tattoo. I had no idea what to get, so I just picked this out of a flash book, and yeah, that's it. I'll never ever get it covered. It's not that I like it, and it's not that I hate it. It's just my first, so it'll stay there forever. While we're on this side of the arm, this is a Japanese mask. I think it's called a henna mask or something like that. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but this comes from like Japanese theatre, where there's a story of a man, his wife and his mistress, and he's planning on leaving his wife for his mistress, but then he doesn't, and the mistress puts on this mask to hide her jealousy, and it consumes her. I'm probably butchering that story, but that's generally the rough guide of that story. Then in this little gap here we have a lotus flower. Some of them are kind of hard to see because of my psoriasis, but if I put this video off any longer I'm not going to do it. So I have a lotus flower here, so lots of people get them to represent like new beginnings and anything like that. If I'm being perfectly honest, the only reason I got this was because it fit that space so perfectly. I have a koi fish going on this side which needs to be coloured in or shaded in, more so black and grey. So I had this like almost triangle space at the bottom of the wrist, and a lotus flower fit there really perfectly. The only other one on this arm is this Green Lantern symbol back here. So there's kind of a couple of reasons behind this one. My little brother Ryan was getting his first ever tattoo, and he was a little bit nervous. So we got the same tattoo in the same spot at the same time. And yeah, that's kind of the main gist of that one. The only other kind of story I would have behind this one would be that to be a Green Lantern, to power your ring, it's powered by willpower. And I've always been someone that done whatever I wanted to do and not what other people wanted me to do. So I always felt a little bit of a connection to that superhero because it's all about willpower. Then moving on to the hands, so on the backs of the hands it says true love, but when I look at it this way, it's really awkward to do on camera, when I look at it, it says true love, and then when you look at it, it says true love. I think they call it like an amnigram, something like that. Yeah, so there's a story called the separation of souls. I think it's like in Greek mythology, Zeus created a being that had 4 arms, 4 legs and 2 heads. And then he feared that he created something too powerful. So he separated them and placed them at either end of the earth. And then that's essentially how humans were created. And they spend their entire lives looking for their other half. So the idea of that tattoo was, once you find true love, it doesn't matter what way you look at it, front ways, back ways, it's just true love. Then I have this kind of fern leaf thing, and this like old school kind of barbed wire across the knuckles. After I got my fingers done, so my fingers say home bird. After I got my fingers done and had the back of my hands done, there was this big awkward gap here. So I got my friend Emmett to just fill in the gaps. So they mean absolutely nothing other than fill space. I have home bird there. I have Roman numerals on the bottom. It says MCMXLIII, which if anybody knows Roman numerals, it's 1943. So somebody once joked about how I dress is really old school, and in Ireland we had like the War of Independence, so like 1916 and all that. sort of stuff. And somebody once joked that I looked like I was on my way to the GPO to fight with Collins and stuff. So I thought to myself, oh, what year would it be if I was born in 1916? And at the time it would have been 1943. And I named my first blog after that, 1943. It was kind of my way of turning their joke against them, if that makes sense. And then I got it tattooed on me because that was kind of my first blog that kind of did really well. And obviously now, like, I do the whole like Instagram and TikTok thing, and it's really successful now. So that was kind of the humble beginnings, so to speak. So sticking with the hands, we have a straight razor here and we have a spider web here. So I was in London with L'Oreal Paris. They were doing the Barber Club launch, and they had a tattoo artist at the event. And obviously I had tattoos, so the PRs were like, Damien, you should get a tattoo. And I was like, that's a terrible idea because I'm drinking whiskey. And then a few more whiskeys in, when they said you should get a tattoo, I was like, that's a great idea. So I got this spider web in my hand, and then I actually shave with a cutthroat razor or with a straight razor. So anybody has seen me shaving on Instagram or TikTok, you'll know that I use a straight razor. And the straight razor just fit that space perfectly because like my hands are pretty symmetrical. And then when I had the spider web and I had this big gap here, it really bugged me. So the straight razor fit there really well, essentially. Then last on the hands is the number 13 on my thumbs. So that was my jersey number when I played hurling. If anybody doesn't know what hurling is, I suggest you YouTube it after watching this video. It's mental. So then moving on to this arm, we have lots of kind of mismatchy kind of stuff. We have this kind of campsite scene, mountains and moons, and it says "Get Lost" on the bottom of it. Yeah, it hasn't really aged very well. Like a lot of these trees have kind of all like blown out into each other, and the fire doesn't look like a fire anymore. So this little scene has not really aged very well, but the text has aged quite well. Then we have this little trad flower. Then we have this swallow, which could probably do it being shaded in. Then we have a pipe. Again, like I don't smoke a pipe, but like this just fits this space so perfect. Then we have this skull with a nail going through it. Then we have this dagger that goes from elbow to wrist. I think it says cold steel in there. Then back there we have a couple of coffin nails. What else have we got? We have a fedora in there. Then we have this like ship thing that says Homeward Bound. So when Emmett, who done these on my hands, was an apprentice, he done this, and this all on the same day. And yeah, like he was an apprentice, so like no disrespect to him, but he absolutely butchered this. Like he went far too deep. Almost every single line is blown out. It's barely even legible anymore. Yeah, but it is what it is. It just fits that space, and yeah, like it's not good enough to get fixed, and it's like almost impossible to laser off. So yeah, is what it is. I have this little gap here which I'll have to stick something in once my psoriasis clears up. And then in here we have a Sacred Heart. So my little brother's girlfriend Sophie done this one, the Sacred Heart, the nails, the tooth. I have a tooth in there. She done the tooth, and she done the trad flower and the skull with a nail. She done all those in the same day. So that was like a day sitting just to get kind of like little filler pieces in. Then back here, which is one I always forget about, it's kind of like two arrows crossing, and then there's like mountains, lantern, a sunset, and a pine tree. Yeah, pretty basic, outdoorsy, hipster kind of tattoo. I got this one and this one, the campsite, at the same time. They were done on like a social media collaboration. It was the first time that I ever got like gifted tattoos as a social media collab, which was sweet. Like, and then up here we have a panther. This is, other than the Green Lantern tattoo, this is the only kind of full color one. So Emmett that done like these on my hands, and the other ones, he done this. Could probably do it a little bit of a touch up now at this stage, but yeah. So it's just a panther with a dagger going through it. So like there was a tattoo artist called Johnny Eagle, who was like a pioneer of Irish tattooing, and this is essentially like a modern twist on one of his designs that EJ found in an old newspaper scrap, and then he kind of like reworked it, and I got it. Oh my god, I'm dying. So that is it for the arms. So once the psoriasis clears up, like, I'm gonna fill out the arms. So Anton in Good Trouble, good friend of mine, we have some plans to fill out those arms. So now we'll move on to, we'll do the face and the neck real quick, because like I'm like right here. So I have 3 dots here. It means Mia Vida Loca, which translates to my crazy life. I'm not in a gang and I've not been in prison. But that tattoo is kind of like it's kind of like a joke, because I always joke about my life being really boring. Like, it's not like it's actually not that boring. It's also not that exciting. But everybody thinks that I live this like super exciting life, because I go to like all these events and movie premieres, and what you see on social media is like a tiny little snippet. It's like a highlight reel, so obviously it seems more exciting. So this tattoo is kind of like a little grounding joke. It says like, your life's actually not that exciting, it's actually quite boring. And then I have this fern leaf or olive branch thing that down the side of my face. So I got these 2 done on the same day. EJ done those as well. Then on my throat, I have a mountain range and a pine tree. That was my first kind of neck tattoo. So when I wear like a dress shirt, it was the first one that you kind of see all the time, other than like my hands. When I got this one, that was like the next kind of step, because it was like on the neck. Then under here we have what's called filigree. So you see it used as like decoration around like coats of arms, or around like Gothic mirrors and stuff. So Sergio in the black hat done this. So this was also done on a social media collaboration, which was insane. So like, I got like a full day sitting just to like give the guys a shout out on Instagram, which was like amazing. So we got the throat done, so it starts in the middle and it kind of mirrors itself out and around, and some parts kind of come up onto the cheek a bit, which I absolutely love. And then the ones on the back of my head, you probably won't be able to see that well because of my hair's grown out. But I have like an angel and a demon, and then yeah, kind of the wings kind of overlap at the back, and then it comes up behind both of the ears. So my brother's girlfriend Sophie also done those. That was two and a bit full day sittings, and they were absolutely torture, like absolutely torture. So now we move on to like the chest and stomach before going to the legs. So you'll have to excuse my psoriasis, like it is what it is. As I said, if I put off doing this video any longer, it just wouldn't get done. So on my chest is a big L. I loved this when I first got it done because it was kind of my first piece that had like big coverage. But I don't like the eyes. I don't like how they're like, he looks like Gizmo from the Gremlins. They're just too round. So my friend Fuchs is going to fix and finish this. So we're going to make the eyes like much more angled and aggressive, and then the whole thing will be like shaded in. And then here in the middle, we have a Sailor Jerry piece of flash. My good friend Fruki done this. This was absolutely torture. Like this was the only tattoo that I actively screamed getting. People outside the shop could hear me getting this done. We started at 6 in the evening and finished at like 1 AM. It was awful. 100% would not recommend getting the belly done. So again, this is just like a piece of flash. There's no real kind of meaning behind it. Like my dad was in the Navy, so I suppose like I can tie it into that, but that's not the reason I got it. I could just make that the reason now, but yeah, it was just a nice piece of flash that fits there, and we do plan on putting something from like here up on like both sides to like fill it out, but obviously psoriasis is quite bad, especially in these areas, so I can't tattoo that right now. And then on the bottom here we have another kind of traditional tattoo design. This is like a hand and a snake shaking hands. This is a whole trust nobody kind of tattoo design. So yeah, the idea behind this is basically not every hand that you reach out to shake is a friendly one, so just to be wary. So that is pretty much the entire top half from head to waistline. I've nothing on my back and I've nothing on the ribs inside. So my next ones is getting my chest fixed and finished, and then fill out the arms, and then I'll worry about like these little spots. So now we'll have a look at, again, you'll have to excuse the psoriasis. It's a bit more patchy on my legs as well, so it's a bit more noticeable. But this tattoo of the barbed wire is somewhat of a special tattoo for me because I done this myself. This is my first tattoo that I done on human skin, and it didn't fuck it up too badly, which was nice. And now that it's fully healed, once the psoriasis goes away, I'll go back in, I'll do some shading and stuff, and there's a couple of lines that I want to fix up. So yeah, barbed wire that I done myself, which is a nice one. Then if we lift up here, we have a big spider web on the kneecap, and then on this kneecap we have like a third of a spider web, because I thought I would be really brave and get them done at the same time, well, the same day, like one after the other. We got this far into the second one and I was like, nah, f that, let's just go for points. Yeah, so I have like a third of a spider web on this one. I don't know if we'll finish it. We'll probably eventually finish it. On the bottom here, this is one of my favorite tattoos. So my friend Fuchs, who's gonna fix my chest, done this tattoo. So I had given her like 4 or 5 designs, and she kind of like merged them all into one. So it's like a coffin and a staircase. And there's like skeleton's hand coming out, but if you look closely, the skeleton's hands have my hand tattoos on it. We came up with this idea maybe halfway through the entire tattoo design, and she just free-handed them right onto his fingers. It's a bit of a morbid tattoo, but I love it, and it healed super well. Like the black stayed super black, and I love it. Back of that calf, this is getting really difficult to show these now. On the back of that calf we have like a mirror. Our friend Owen, who was an apprentice at the time, done that. On the bottom of the shins we have little trad flowers. We have one on that one and one on that one. Base of this foot we have a Greek helmet. My grandparents live in Corfu, and I got this Greek helmet while I was in Corfu. On this one we have a revolver that my good friend Bruno done. Me and Bruno share an exact birthday, 30th of July 91. Oh my god, I'm out of breath from moving around. Yeah, so it's just a revolver, and then out of the barrel it says love. Yeah, love kills, I guess. Cringe. I think last but not least, my friend Haley really wanted to do this tattoo. This is Billy from Stranger Things, but like Billy was definitely my favourite character from Stranger Things, so she wanted to do it and I wanted to get it, so we done that. My apologies to subjecting you to me in my underwear, but this is a highly requested video to show off my tattoos and some of the meanings behind them. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit different than all the fashion content that I normally do. I have a really cool fashion related video coming soon, which again is a highly requested kind of topic to touch on. So yeah, thank you all for all the amazing support last year. The growth across all of my channels was insane. This YouTube was on almost 12,000 subs. I remember when I hit like 500 subs and I was excited, and now it's on just under 12k. Instagram is just under 500k, which is insane, and TikTok is just under 1 million. I never ever thought, I've been doing this social media thing for a long time, trust me, a long time, and I never thought that I would reach these sort of numbers, because for a long period of time like the growth was somewhat kind of stagnant. But yeah, I mean, I suppose this is probably my reward for kind of sticking at it, I guess. But yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so much. I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful New Year's, and here is to, if I had a drink I would cheers you right now, but here's to an incredible, productive, successful 2023. I will see you in the next one.